All right, let's talk about a really interesting financial question that a lot of new parents might face. You get a big, generous gift for your newborn, which is amazing, right? But what if their college education is already taken care of? Suddenly, all the standard advice just goes out the window. So we're going to dive into the best ways to invest for their future when it's about more than just tuition.
So where did this idea even come from? Well, it's actually from a real question somebody posted on Reddit. Picture this. A family just had a baby. The grandparents are awesome and want to invest 25 grand for the little one. But, plot twist, the kid's college is already covered by the GI Bill. The usual just open a 529 advice, it just doesn't really fit here. So, where do you put that money?
And that brings us to the main idea, the big theme for this whole thing. It was summed up perfectly by certified financial planner Margarita Cheng, who said, "Flexibility is key." And that's it, right there. When you're investing for a whole lifetime of possibilities, not just 4 years of college, flexibility becomes your absolute best friend.
Okay, so the first thing we got to do is kind of shift our thinking. We're moving past what you could call the post-529 problem, where the only goal is paying for school. The new goal, it's about building flexible wealth. We're talking about money that could be a down payment on a first house, seed money for a business, or, just a really solid financial start to their adult life.
So let's look at our first option, and it's a really common one. It's the custodial account, which you might hear called a UTMA or a UGMA. That just stands for Uniform Transfers or Gifts to Minors Act. It's one of the most popular tools for gifting money to a kid, so let's break down exactly how it works.
So the idea here is actually pretty simple. The money legally belongs to the child, but a guardian, a parent, manages it until they're an adult. Now, adult can mean anything from 18 to 25. It really depends on what state you live in. But once they hit that age, boom, they get full control of the account.
And this is really the core trade-off, the big pro and con you need to weigh. The huge pro? Total flexibility. The money can be used for absolutely anything, a house, a business, you name it. But the con, and this is a big one, since the money is legally the child's asset, it can seriously hurt their chances of getting need-based financial aid for college down the road.
All right, let's talk taxes, because this is where custodial accounts have a pretty unique advantage. It's called the kiddie tax. Basically, any investment gains get taxed in these tiers. The first chunk of money the account earns each year, tax-free. The next chunk, it's taxed at the child's super low rate. It's only after you get past that amount that the parents' higher tax rates kick in. So it gives you a nice little tax break, especially in those early years of growth.
Okay, on to our second option. And this one is a true financial powerhouse. But, and there's always a but, it comes with a very specific rule you have to follow. We're talking about a Roth IRA for kids.
And here it is, the big catch. You can't just dump gift money into a Roth IRA for your kid. They have to have actual earned income. We're talking money from a real job, like babysitting, mowing lawns, maybe even some child acting gigs. And the amount you can put in is limited to whatever they earned that year, up to the annual IRA contribution limit.
But, and this is a big but, if your child does have earned income, this tool is, in the words of Margarita Cheng, super powerful. Just think about it for a second. The money grows completely tax-free, forever. They can pull out their contributions anytime without penalty. And after 5 years, they can even take out up to 10 grand of the earnings, also tax-free, to help buy their first home. I mean, wow.
So let's just pause for a second and go back to that original gift, $25,000. It's an incredible head start, no doubt. But what could that money actually turn into with a few decades of growth?
This right here is the magic of compounding interest. Just look at this timeline. A single investment of 25 grand at birth, assuming a pretty standard 7% annual return, could balloon to over $190,000 by the time they're 30. That's the unbelievable advantage of just giving money time to do its thing.
But what if your number one priority is control, like total control? That brings us to option number 3, just keeping the investment in a regular old brokerage account that you, the parent, own. The key difference here, the most important part, is that the money is still legally yours. You have 100% control. You get to decide if and when you want to gift it to your child. This completely gets rid of that risk of an 18-year-old suddenly having access to a huge pile of cash before they're ready.
And this is where this parent-owned option really shines, especially when you compare it to that custodial account we talked about. When it comes time to fill out the FAFSA for college financial aid, the government formula looks at assets owned by a parent very, very differently than assets owned by a child.
And wow, this bar chart just makes the difference so obvious.
An asset that belongs to your child, like money in a custodial account, it gets assessed at a whopping 20% for financial aid. But an asset that belongs to you, the parent, it's assessed at a maximum of just 5.64%. That is a huge difference that could literally be worth thousands of dollars in potential aid.
Okay, so far we've talked a lot about growth. But what if you're less worried about hitting a home run and more concerned with just making sure the money keeps its value? That brings us to our fourth option, the safety play. We're talking about I bonds.
So what are I bonds? They're basically savings bonds from the US government that are specifically designed to protect your money from inflation. Their interest rate has two parts, a fixed rate that stays the same and a variable rate that goes up and down with inflation. The whole point is to make sure your investment keeps its purchasing power over time. It's about as risk-free as an investment can get.
Now, there are a few key rules you got to know. For one, there's an annual purchase limit of $10,000 per person. The interest rate also changes every 6 months, and if you cash out before 5 years, you do give up the last 3 months of interest. But for steady, protected returns, especially in uncertain times, they are an incredibly solid choice. Okay, so we've looked at 4 totally different options, right? Each with its own pros and cons. But what do the pros actually recommend? Well, a lot of the time, the best strategy isn't about picking just one. It's about combining them. So let's look at the pro move, the hybrid solution.
This approach, which is recommended by CFP Margarita Cheng, really gives you the best of both worlds. Here's how it works. Step 1, you put just enough money into a 529 plan to get the maximum state income tax deduction your state offers. I mean, that's basically free money. Why wouldn't you take it? Then, step 2, you invest all the rest of the money in a parent-owned brokerage account. That gives you that maximum control and flexibility we talked about.
And this is the real game changer. This is what makes that hybrid approach so incredibly smart. Thanks to a pretty recent rule change, once that 529 account has been open for 15 years, you can roll over any unused funds up to a lifetime limit of $35,000 directly into a Roth IRA for your child. It's amazing. A tool that was once only for college can now become a powerful head start on their retirement savings.
So as we wrap this all up, it really comes down to this question. When it comes to securing your child's future, what matters most to you? Is it flexibility? Is it control? Or is it simplicity? There's no single right answer for everyone, but by understanding these different options, you can put together a strategy that really sets your child up for a lifetime of financial success.